Welcome to 845 The Mix Show's Inside the Industry. I'm your host, DJ Duya. Inside the Industry gives you a unique look at artists, producers, labels, DJs, and how they shape their craft during their tenure in hip-hop. And today I have an artist that was the precursor artist to the Murder Inc. label. So I can't wait to chop it up. Today we got Mic Geronimo. So we're going to get right into it. Let's go. DJ Duya, 845 The Mix Show. Like I said, we got a new series going on. It's called Inside the Industry, and I got one of the Queens legends in the building. I feel like when I was a kid and growing up in Queens, there was, or not even necessarily in Queens, just in the early 90s, it was Nas, Method Man, Redman, Buckshot, Biggie, and Mic Geronimo, man. And that's who was like in the early 90s in New York, especially in Queens. That's who was popping. And I got the man in the building right now. I just want to let him introduce himself.
Peace, what's going on? I'm here, bro. How you feel, brother?
Oh, great, man. I always wanted to interview you, man. You got so much history. Like, people don't even know, but we're going to get into all of it. Like, we're going to get into it all. People don't even know how instrumental you are into the resurgence, I feel like, of the East Coast.
Oh, man, that's a lot. I appreciate it. I appreciate that.
Yeah, so, all right, my first question is, I wanted you to just give your background, you know, where you came from and, you know.
Well, I'm originally from Flushing, Queens, which is a neighborhood in Queens, New York. Was born there, grew up there. So I spent a lot of my time there. I have a lot of family in Southside Jamaica. And so I would forth between those two areas. And I started rhyming when I was about 18, I think I want to say. I was DJing before that. I started DJing when I was like 15, 16. A mutual friend of mine knew a guy named Irvin Lorenzo, also known as Irv Gotti. Mm-hmm. And he introduced us. Irv said he had a studio. He asked me if I ever been to a studio. I said no. He told me he wanted me to come by, and try, doing some music, and that try turned into Shit's Real. And then after that, the rest is,
So wait a minute, hold on. Back up a little bit. All
okay.
right. So, because those were a lot of my questions that you kind of went into them already. All right. So,
okay.
How did you link up with Irv?
Well, I went to Bayside High School.
Okay.
And at Bayside High School, I had a friend named Chucky Madness. And Chuck was a DJ in Howard, Queens, and he was a pretty well-known DJ at the time.
Gotcha.
And he knew Irv Gotti. And it just so happened one day I was freestyling at the cafeteria at the lunchroom table. And Chuck overheard. And I guess he must have said something to Irv, because after he heard me rhyming, he was like, yo, why don't you come through to my crib and we'll do like mixtape stuff, which we started doing. And I guess he told Irv about me. And of course, all of this, Chuck and me had did a song called Microphone Geronimo, which we used Barry White beat. I think it was Playing Your Game. And Irv heard it, and Chuck entered me into a talent show. And Irv came to the talent show, and that's where we formally met. And that's where he, was like, yo, I got a studio, why don't you come by, da-da-da-da-da. And it was cool, and I went. And like I said, the first time I ever went in, it actually ended up being Shit's Real. That's the first
crazy. So, all right, so y'all made Shit's Real the first time that y'all linked up in the studio?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what was the process of, all right, after y'all recorded it? Because I wanted to know like the process of you doing like your first demo with Irv.
It was kind of weird because I didn't have what I guess people would regard as being a demo.
Okay.
We did Shit's Real, and we did, I want to say, maybe 2-3 other songs. And Irv, I guess, was circulating the material to labels to see if they were interested. And I think some of them started to become interested, but he actually decided to press Shit's Real up on our own.
Really?
Yeah, and he was like, yo, we're not waiting for a label. We just gonna press this on our own. So he pressed it up. And then from there, you know, he would sleep in front of radio stations, give it to DJs. He sent me to a club, you know, give me the tape or the 12-inch, and I would take it to whatever DJ was playing it at the time. And we would just tell him, we'd be like, yo, if you like it, rep it. If you don't, break it over your knee. You know, you don't have to worry about it. And thank God they didn't break it over their knee. You know,
so how long,
we just pretty much,
how did y'all do the video? Did the video come after y'all got signed, or you did the video on your own too?
We did that on our own too.
Damn.
Because Irv knew Hype Williams.
Gotcha.
Irv and Hype were cool. They were good friends. And I guess Irv had been discussing, you know, what he wanted to do. And Hype was like, yo, I'll shoot the video. So the video for Shit's Real was done on a camera that was about this big. And it was a handheld camera. And Hype and his man, I think the guy's name was Izzy or Iggy. I want to say Izzy. They shot it on that one little camera. And he edited it on his own, and it worked out because we had the record pressed. We did our own video, which was incentive for labels that did have interest. Yeah. And it also showed them that, you know, Irv was serious about where he wanted things to go. And so that's pretty much how it went.
That's crazy. So, all right, so after y'all obviously ended up going with TVT and Hunt Records. Like, how did that come about? Was that the Irv? Did y'all feel like that was the best deal at the time, or y'all was just happy to have any deal?
No, I think that because we were actually in a, I'm sorry, that's my son bugging out on. But we actually were in a bit of like a little bidding war because I know there were 3 labels at the time that were interested. One of them was Wild Pitch. And we went up to Wild Pitch and we had a meeting, and something happened with another artist that was signed to Wild Pitch that day, and it turned into like police coming up there and an assault and all this other stuff. So we were kind of like, okay, we'll get back to you.
That's crazy.
And then I want to say the 3rd label was, I believe, Loud.
Oh.
And I know that Steve Rifkin was very, very big on me coming there, but there was this potential issue regarding samples. And I think that kind of like deterred it.
Got you.
But as they were kind of debating whether they wanted to, you know, deal with what would come with that or what happened, we ended up sitting down with TVT. And I met Steve Gottlieb. And me and Steve hit it off the minute that we sat down. And, you know, me and Irv just talked after it all, and he felt TVT was the best thing to do because it was a brand new label. It was an independent label, and they had a lot of capital to put behind whatever artist they were going to sign. Not to mention that I would have been the first artist ever signed to that label. So he was saying, you have to know the value in that. I just pretty much was saying that's who I felt most comfortable with out of everybody we met with. And so the rest was history. We signed with TVT.
So it sounds like they were trying to, or the division was trying to make you like the LL of TBT.
To a degree, yeah.
Yeah.
To a degree. I mean, and it had its plus sides, and it had pros and it had cons, you know. So that's where we ended up going.
So how did you end up linking with Royal Flush? How did you meet Royal Flush?
Oh, I knew Flush from when I was a kid, because Flush grew up in my neighborhood, and I actually used to play Little League Baseball with his cousin Rashad. And me and his cousin Rashad were like best friends. So that's how I met Flush and his brother and the rest of his family. And then I moved away from the block, and then I started coming back around in my teenage years. But once we saw each other, it was like the same thing from where we left off. And that was it. So it was so
it was like nothing. So it was a relationship before it was before.
Yeah, like me and Flush knew each other from before anyway. From before I even knew that Flush rhymed, or he even knew I rhymed.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So it's been, you know, since childhood.
So I got like a couple pictures I want to show you.
Okay.
When you take a look at the pictures, I just want you to kind of describe the moment, and what was going on in the pictures. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
So here's the first one that we got here.
Okay.
Let's just pull this up. Hold on.
Okay.
See that?
Yeah, I see it. Yeah, I see it. We are in Miami. We're on the set of Jay-Z's video, Ain't No Jigga. And this is early afternoon, and this is either before or after we did this one shot where like everybody was sitting at the cabana. But it was a good day. It was a good trip.
So like talk about, you know, because you had a relationship with Biggie and Tupac, right?
Yeah.
So did you feel anything in it being in the, you know, obviously you had your own camp, but having relationships with both, did you feel anything when the tension got crazy between the two?
Yeah, I don't think there's anyone that knew both of them that didn't, you know, feel a little. At a minimum, you probably felt uncomfortable, and at a maximum, you probably felt, you know, helpless in the sense that it's not a situation that if you knew them both and if you cared about them both, you didn't want to see them going through it. So it was strange, you know, but now that I'm older, you know, I'm thankful that I had, you know, the opportunity to have both of them as what I would consider to be friends, you know.
All right, here's the next one right here. We got you, of course.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Got Irv. We got Nichols there. We got
and Big in the background. Yep. Craig. So
now,
then,
to me, all right. Before you go into it, now, like I said, it's like Nichols was with Pac when, you know, what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Nichols was actually
right there.
Yeah, Nichols was my road manager.
Wow. Okay. See, I used to be an intern at Murder Inc. And I was working underneath him.
Yeah. So Nick was my road manager, and I actually got cool with Pac because of like Irv and Nichols.
Gotcha.
That's how I actually met him. But in this picture, we're in Los Angeles, and I think we were at a radio station, like a college radio station. But this was the first tour I had ever in my life gone on.
Really?
So it was just me, Big, and I want to say, it was me, Big, and Craig Mack. And we did shows in LA. We did a show in particular at this spot called The Crossroads, which is on Crenshaw or something like that. Wherever it was deep in blood territory. But it was cool because it was the first show they had did in 11 years because there was too much gang violence.
Yeah.
So it was the first show that they did. Unity at Crossroads, that's what it was called. But it was the first show they did to reopen the club. And it was I'll never forget it. Dog Pound came, everybody was there.
Really?
Yeah, it was like my first Los Angeles experience.
Oh, you guys were making a lot of moves without even really being signed or having. You guys were making a lot of moves, man.
Yeah, I think with us, we just we didn't have, like, we never said, oh, we won't go here or we won't go there. And everything with us was there's nowhere we wouldn't go to introduce people to what we were doing. You know, so it was cool. And everything with us is, you know, everything is alike in the sense of real tech real. So we could go to Chicago, we could go to Miami, we could go to LA, we could go to Boston.
Yep.
And as long as you know, it's all about how you carry yourself. You feel me? So we were cool 9 times out of 10 when we went.
So I know, like, hip hop is a real competitive thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So at this time right here, you see that picture.
Yeah.
This song was like, the jump off for the bad boy movement.
Yeah.
I know you guys, obviously you guys was grinding. You're on the set. And like,
Yeah.
How do you feel in that moment right there? How did what was y'all taking in from that moment?
I'll be honest, I was like high this entire video. And the only thing I really remember about that day was me, my brother, Big, C's, and the Junior Mafia dudes. We just kept rolling blunt after blunt after blunt after blunt after. I think the Lost Boys ended up coming to the video too. So it was a fun day. Like, yeah. I had fun because it was just pot everywhere. So I was like, okay, this is great. And we was laughing and joking and rolling dice and all that good stuff. And Irv had fun, because he was like, yo, okay, I'm laying down the foundation. We getting, so it was definitely a fun day. I'll never forget that day.
All right, here's the next. I don't think I got another picture, but I want to go into something else here that I remember before I actually get into that, because I wanted to touch on the Natural album. So that came out in 95, right?
I want to say it might have been like 94, 95, something like that.
So when it dropped, how did y'all feel about how the people received it? And
I mean, I was actually shocked. I don't think that I think the difference between Irv and myself was he would see the results and he was like okay with all of it, in the sense of, okay, this is what we were gunning for, this is why we here. So he would normally be pleased. With me, I kind of was like in a bubble where I was like, oh, okay, so that's cool, people like it. And I wasn't really aiming to be a rapper. Like, I just did it because people around me enjoyed it when I would do it. But I wasn't doing it in the sense of, okay, I'm dedicating my life to pursuing this. It just so happened that I ran across Irv, he ran across me, he saw something, I had fun doing what I was doing. And so when things like that would happen, like when the Natural did come out and it got the response that it got, or people would give us positive responses, to me, I would just be like, well, that's cool, that doesn't happen every day. Yeah. So I would just take it like, this is great for something that I didn't even think would ever even turn into this. So
that's crazy, because some people are trying to break in for so long, and then it's
yeah.
Especially at that time, it was like crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I think the difference between then and now, like, it's so much more that you had to do then because you didn't have the technological advances that you have now that allow you to, like, you could talk to the whole world over your phone now. And
Yeah, exactly.
that's just something that we did not have at that time.
Yeah.
You know, we had to literally beat the pavement and travel and drive and be half starving and go everywhere to, but that's what you did. That's just what you did, so it was very different, but I think it's more gratifying knowing that we did it at a time when it wasn't the easiest thing in the world to do.
So what was the transition from Natural to Vendetta? Because Irv is he on Vendetta at all?
He is,
work more
because
with Puff for Vendetta.
Well, he actually had a lot to do with Usual Suspects. I wouldn't even have that record if it wasn't for Irv.
We're gonna get into that.
Right. So Irv is the one who he mapped out Usual Suspects, and even when it came to he has Life and Lesson. That's a Irv Gotti track.
Okay. All right, that's a Irv Gotti track too.
Yeah. And we wrote that, I want to say maybe wrote that like 3-4 days after Pac died.
Wow.
Because that's what had inspired me to write the record.
Got you.
And he played me the beat. And yeah, so he's on Vendetta.
Yeah, he is on that. You're absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're on your records is the first time I ever heard. Me personally is the first time on your joints is that I ever heard Ja Rule or DMX.
Yeah, and that's cool too. And again, that's a lot of that is Irv.
Yeah,
I didn't know DMX and I didn't know Ja Rule and I didn't know Jay-Z until Irv introduced it.
Got you.
And it was just cool. Like with each of them, it was a bit different. With Ja, it was more of it was no different than meeting somebody from my hood.
Yep.
And with Hov, we just clicked instantly. And with X, it was like, okay, this is like my brother from another mom. So it just, with all of them, fortunately, we all respected each other's work and work ethic and creative abilities. So thank God all of those things, they just all lined up. But it was due to Irv Gotti that it happened.
That's real.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Back then, when I first heard the Usual Suspects, my uncle actually played it for me, Fats. And I was a kid. I don't know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what's really going on. I'm just like 14, 15 years old. But then I get, we start going around and, back then it was like mixtapes and, people would talk. So they were saying that Mic Geronimo on Usual Suspects was taking shots at Nas.
I mean, yeah, we could, it's so much time that's passed that, I mean, yeah. But
I'm gonna play the verse right now.
What I have to say to that is, people don't know. Like, I knew Nas way before I signed the record deal.
Really?
And I knew Nas because of Large Professor. And Large Professor was like my big brother growing up. That's like the first person literally that I ever knew coming outside.
Damn.
So
crazy.
Right. So I knew Nas and I knew Akinelli and I knew Q-Tip and I knew Pete Rock and I knew Gangstar and I knew Busta Rhymes and Leaders of the New School and all these people, Showbiz, AG, because they would come to Large Professor's house.
Gotcha.
And I would beat
Everybody that you named respected your craft too. That's ill to me.
And they didn't even know that I spit. None of them knew I spit at that time. Like Nas knew that I DJ.
Oh, okay.
Because at that point I was DJing. They didn't know me for spitting. So fast forward. So I say that all of that is to say we might have in competition took pot shots But at the end of the day, I consider Nas to be a good friend, a true friend.
Yeah.
So at that time, was I taking a shot at him? Yeah. Was there a reason why I took a shot at him? Yeah. But
Wait.
I think
What was the
he
reason?
got his shot.
I gotta know. What was the reason?
No, that's not superly important. It was a lot of stuff that like happened behind the scenes, industry wide. And there were a couple of people that, I think on both sides of the fence. I think one of the biggest things with us was the comparison. And what I would always say about it was that's people choosing to say they see similarities. And that's people choosing to make a comparison. But I myself, I would never say, and I would readily say, I would never say I was on his caliber. Like, that's my friend in the whole nine, but he's one of the most deadly MCs in the history of rap, so to be comparable to that, or for somebody to even say that you're close to that is like, I know with me, it had me like, what? But it's something we did, and we discussed everything, and he got his shot back off on a Clue tape, and then, we talked down the road. And I wouldn't even say that we had a true problem with each other. I think more than anything, I think it was a lot of miscommunication. I think it was a lot of cooks in the kitchen that were antagonizing us both. And I think there were a lot of people behind the scenes that, they stood to benefit from watching both of us go at it.
Yep.
But he did something for me outside of music that I would never, ever be able to forget, nor to repay him for. And this was before I had a record deal. And what he did at that time showed me his character as a person, where I was like, yeah, okay, we made it, took in a pot shot here and a pot shot there, but I can't forget what you did do. And because of that, we owe it to each other to sit down and discuss everything. And we're cool. That's my guy. And I'm so happy for his success. And I'm so happy for everything that he gets into. And I love to see any moment that he's doing something, like it takes me back to us being kids. So that's dope.
That's dope, man. That's a great, that's exactly what I wanted to get. Something like that, man. That was dope.
Yeah.
So after the Vendetta album comes out, did it go gold? I don't know if you made it to gold, right? Did you?
I think it might have almost gotten to that point, but didn't fully. I don't know where it stands now because I haven't checked. But it got close to it.
So, because then, all right, that's like 97. So that comes out, and then they form Murder Inc. like 99. So I always wondered why you weren't an artist on Murder Inc.
Well, there are a number of reasons. The first reason being Irv and myself had hit a point where we just did not see eye to eye.
Got you.
And I couldn't see myself and him being able to work together constructively, because there was a lot of things that had occurred that kind of, for lack of a better way of putting it, it wore on the relationship.
Gotcha.
So there was that. Two, there was my contractual obligation to TVT, which I couldn't just up and leave. And they weren't just gonna let me up and leave, because I was the first artist they had ever signed to a hip hop label. And because they had invested so heavily in me, it wasn't as simple as me saying, okay, I'm just gonna go somewhere else. And then third, I think after I worked on Vendetta, I started to personally just become more, I started to push away from music and the industry and all that stuff. And you can't help where life takes you. So I was just at that point, I was like, yeah, I could deal without this. Like I did what I did. My albums are out. It went further than I would have ever thought. I can leave it at this note.
Yep.
So those three things would probably be the primary.
So with the success of that label, I mean, did you knew that? You knew that they were gonna be that successful because of Irv's drive, or like you just?
I mean, to me, I never had a doubt that whatever Irv did would be successful, because I saw what he did with when he had an idea for what we needed to do. And I knew his ambition. I knew his work ethic. I knew his commitment to making things happen. And when he wants to do something, he develops a tunnel vision and he becomes relentless at trying to get it accomplished. So there was never any doubt in my head that Murder Inc. wouldn't be successful. Rule had immeasurable talent, and he was so unique as an artist that I was just like, oh, he's gonna blow like on his first song.
And I never thought that he would blow like that. I can't, like, I'm a big Rule fan too, but from listening to him on your joint to when he got to like the Holla Holla time period, I didn't think that he would blow like he did. But
I think though,
different level.
Right, but I think in that time between The Natural and Veni Vidi Vici, I think he honed in on what kind of artist he wanted to be. I think he got really, really good at structuring songs.
Yeah.
And hooks in particular. And I think the biggest thing that he did, I think the biggest decision he made was that he was like, yo, to me, Rule is like, he's one of the architects for the structure of songs now. Like, he was one of the first MCs in recent modern history to say, okay, I'm not going to rap the hook, I'm going to sing the hook.
Yeah.
And this was way before there was a Drake. This was way before 50 Cent was singing a hook. That was his staple.
Yep.
You know, and that in itself came in and it opened up a whole new door with hip hop. So there was never any question in my mind as to would Murder Inc. be successful or not. Like I never for one moment thought that it wouldn't be.
So then, you know, like you said, that after that, you kind of took a lot of time off of music, and then the next joint was like a Long Road Back, right?
Yeah, it was like my first independent project.
Okay.
And I don't know, you get inspired when you get inspired, you know, and at that time, I think that I just felt like working again. I felt like maybe I had unresolved things musically that I had to take care of. I felt like I needed to do something just to let people know, like, I still got a sharp sword.
And you did. I thought that joint, so like I'm keeping real because I didn't really hear it back then. So I go back and I'm doing research for the interview. I'm like, this is slept on right here. Going right here.
I appreciate it. Nah, but you know, like, I was always that way, bro. Like, I could never force myself to work, in the sense of, if I didn't feel it, to just fake it and force myself to do it. I wasn't ever good at that. So I would work when it would hit, you know, and at that point, it hit.
Yeah, that's a true creator, though. That's how it is. It's like when it hits you, you got to get to it.
You get to it, you know. So that's how it went down, and that's cool. And I think of all the projects, that one stands out to me in the sense of that was the first time I did an independent project, and that we did something on our own, and it didn't have anything to do with anyone other than, you know, whatever I had in my pocket. And that's a good feeling, whether you sell 1,000,000 records, whether you sell 5,
Yeah.
you know?
Because it was a different time when you dropped that. I could see, like, the music, everything is changing in 2000.
Yeah,
2000.
absolutely. It was a very strange time because New York was still, even at that point, there was still this void because Big was gone. And people were still coming to terms with that. And then you had Jay come in and like kind of bring this whole new way of doing it.
Yep.
And then after that, you had people like Rule, and you had Dipset, you had Rough Riders, and you had all of that just as the South started to make its presence felt.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you had the Midwest making their presence felt. So it was a very strange time creatively in music.
Definitely. All right, so this is the last question I actually have for you, right?
Cool.
I need your top 5 rappers all time from Queens.
Only from Queens?
Yes, sir.
All right. Wait, all time? So am I doing it from 1 to 5? Or
whichever way you want to do it, or if you want to, however you want to do it.
Okay, wait. Wow, there's a lot of people from Queens. Okay.
You can include groups too.
Okay. Queen. I'm gonna say. Damn, there's so many people, bro.
So many.
Okay, so it's only right. So 5, I'm gonna say Lost Boys. That's a group.
Yep.
And I think Lost Boys had a tremendous influence on the infusion of hip hop, R&B, and pop all put together. And that was a very big movement.
Facts.
And I'm even gonna put them as a tie with Onyx.
Okay.
Okay. Can't forget Onyx. Number 4, I would say is from Queens. Number 4, I would say is, it's a group. I'm gonna say Mobb Deep.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Mobb Deep. But you'll understand it gets better as it goes. It's very hard.
That's my favorite group, actually, but okay.
Number 3, I'm gonna say is A Tribe Called Quest.
Somebody's getting left out, man. Go ahead.
A lot of people. I don't want anyone mad at me. I'm sorry. I love everybody, but you put me on the spot.
Definitely did.
And I'm trying to carefully right now take everybody's magnitude and be like, but you understand why. Like,
I feel like you're doing it the right way. Like where you go with it.
Right. So number 3, I say Tribe, because Tribe is just worldwide. There's never been a group like them. There will never be a group like them. Period. All you have to do is play a war tour, and that's that. So that was 3, right?
That's 3.
Number 2.
Somebody's getting left out, man.
Number 2. Oh my God, how did I forget them? All right, wait. All right. 3 is a tie between Run DMC and Tribe Quest.
Okay.
Because Run DMC's impact is just undeniable. Which brings us to 2, which is actually another tie, which I would have to say is a tie between Kool G Rap and LL.
Okay.
And so some people might be saying, how in the hell can you compare a Kool G Rap to a LL? Hear me out. One was the godfather of all Queens gangster music, point blank, period. There would be no Queens gangster nothing if it was not for Kool G Rap. End the story. I don't want to hear it. You can say what you want, so be it. Whatever. However, with that being said, Ladies Love Cool J made all the ladies love Cool J. which in turn translated to you just had to be from Queens, and a little bit of the ladies' love would rub off on you too. Because there's like, yo, you from Queens? LL's from Queens. You'd be like, yeah, I am from Queens, just like him. But LL is undeniable. I think he's one of the smartest, most strategic, most cunning MCs ever. Like, if you listen to the Break of Dawn, it is pretty much it's a dismantling of those three people.
Yeah, it is.
Which leads us to number one. I'm gonna give that to Nas, only because I think that I included Mobb Deep, right?
Yeah, yep, you got Mobb Deep in there.
Ooh,
you left out Curtis. Curtis is left out. Ja
Oh
Rule.
wow. There's a lot of people I left out. I left out Curtis. I left out Ja. I left out Nori.
Yep.
And Capone. I left myself out and Flush. So I left a lot of people out of this equation. But with that being said, I'm going to go with Nas because I just think that pound for pound, there's only 3 people in my lifetime that I have seen completely change the face of music, at least from where I come from. And in terms of East Coast hip hop, I think the only 2 people that may have had similar impact, but not even as defining, would be Big and Jay-Z. But I just think that Nas was just so much of a rock him to like the 50th power.
Yeah.
Like if you would have thought about who's the craziest lyrically, and then you were like, okay, but what if you could put 1,000-pound battery in that person and make him like the Bionic Man? Then it would be Nas lyric.
I agree with you. I feel like he's the greatest lyricist.
And I'm just being logical about, or rather, I'm trying to be as logical about it as I can. So I think pound for pound, hands down, he's definitely the one that transformed the face of music in terms of people from Queens the most.
Yeah, because I do a lot of hip hop debates on my page and stuff. And there was a debate. Sometimes I just put it up and let the people go. Like, there was a debate between Nas and Eminem that went on for, I want to say, 2 weeks, man.
I can imagine. And you can't really compare the two.
I know that, and that's the thing.
But you can't.
Exactly.
Because they're just so. I mean, but the commonality is that they're both lyrically
insane.
Yeah. You know, but it's just an insanity in a different way. I think with Nas, it's so descriptive that you're just in awe about how someone can put that much amount of the detail into a rhyme.
And then somebody said that exact line on the post.
Right. And then with Eminem, I think it's just, you're just in so much awe that structure-wise, syllable-wise, cadence-wise, like he'll say a pattern that you're like, yeah, I didn't even know people could rhyme that way. Yeah. So, I mean, they both are kings in their own right.
Facts. Oh man, yo, this was special for me, man. I can't even lie, man. I want to thank you so much, man, for picking it.
I appreciate it.
Real, man. 845 The Mix Show, DJ Duya. You just heard it from Mic Geronimo. He gave you top 5 from Queens. We went back to the 90s. We even talking about a little basketball in the beginning.
I'm sorry. I didn't have a lot of time to think about my top 5. Dude put me right on the spot. He was like, yo, you got to pick 5 now. So I apologize to anyone that doesn't agree with my list. Sorry about that.
The key word is his list, y'all. That's the key word right there. His.
Exactly, dude. So we good, man. Yo, I had a blast. This was fun, bro.
Thanks so much, man. I'm gonna stay in contact. I'm gonna try to do something with you live when we get all through with all this stuff, man.
Yeah, hopefully sooner than later.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I mean, yo, bro, when all of this is over, just tell me when we're good to go, brother. We're good to go.
All right, thank you, man. Much love.
Likewise, bro.
Yep,
just stay safe, stay strong. I tell you listeners as well, thanks so much for the support over the years. I appreciate it. As far as what's going on now, everyone, please stay strong, stay safe. Please, please, please continue to practice social distancing. Do not fall for the banana in the tailpipe. Please don't start going outside like everything is okay, because it is not. We are still in the woods. We have a long way to go, but just keep the faith, stay strong, take it one day at a time, and God bless each and every one of y'all. Real talk.
Facts, man. That's exactly how I feel, man. So we out of here. 845 The Mix Show. Mic Geronimo, DJ Duya.
Yes, sir. Like I said, man, you got to pick the spot. I'll bring the cigars and the cognac, bro.
Oh, we lit, man. You heard it. This is recorded, so.
I'll bring the cigars and the cognac, so we all right. Ask Facts, he know.
He knows, yeah, he knows.
No, he know.
Yep.
No, he know. Okay, then. Birds of a feather flock together.
All right, bro. Yo, thank you again, man, for real.
Anytime. I appreciate it, bro. I appreciate it.
All right.
One.
Yeah, there it is, y'all. We just had the interview with Mic Geronimo. Whew. Man, he was giving us some crazy game in that joint, man. Whew. I got the Nas out of him. I didn't think I was going to get the Nas out of him. He gave us a lot more about Nas, you know, than I actually expected. So it was a great interview. First interview for the Inside the Label. And this is 845 The Mix Show. It's your boy, DJ Duya. And we're going to be posting this everywhere. Let's get it.
Through sandbags, competition is mad. What I got, they can't have. Sick of they ship like Moby Dick did Ahab. Send them way past the minimum. Interim millennium, a raps to hold a gap to your back like Palestinians. Ancient Abyssinian, strong like Horn and Gideon, official b-boy gentleman, long term, never the interim. Born inside the winter wind. Day after December 10, these simpletons they mention in the synonym for feminine. Sweetness and cinnamon, the Danish streets for intimate. Rush up on adrenaline and get their asses sent to them. Gentlemen, you got a tenement more than a symbol. Leave your unit trembling like herds and move the elephant. Intelligent embellishment. Follow for your element from flatbush settlement. Skin possesses melanin. Hotter than tails of crack peddling. Making them whoop like blue gelatin. Swing like Duke Ellington. Broader than Barrington Levy. Believe me, the hot Apache Red who burned down your chief TP. You see me? Alright.
Yo, straight up and down. Yo, I don't want to play niggas and nothing like that. I'm definitely not trying to play niggas.
Do your thing, man.
Yo, let me finish, dog. I'm not trying to play niggas. But yo, I deserve the right to anchor, yo. You know what I mean?
He came first.
I deserve the right to anchor, yo.
Okay.
Word up, man.
Okay, so, alright, I'm gonna talk
Little bastard. Fuck that. What niggas is talking about?
I thought I heard you today.
Alright.
Yo, niggas don't know, so I gotta flip. See if they forgotten how dark it can get when I bark, when I hit. Scratch like a pit. You both know you puss, but you stay talking shit. What I'm gonna have to do, dog? Run up in your vest. Catch you while you comfortable, put one up in your vest. One up in your chest. Of course, to the hollow. You're going away today, just lost tomorrow. I'm gonna go platinum. Gosh, to be kidding, nah. I'm gonna go platinum. No bullshit. And I'ma stay flipping flows, ripping shows, stripping hoes, getting dope, letting go. And niggas know who the best is. Dog, DMX is. The best is, or might as well be helpless. I'm reckless, cause when I wreck shit, I might snatch a nigga's necklace and then go from like midnight to reckless.
My alma mater is my rooftop. Back in '85 with summer cookouts, to crack lookouts, mega hookers with pocket books out. The corners where we hung out. My uncle that was strung out. Beef during the drought and all the guns that we brung out. Niggas hustle for clouds, Brownsville Street, tight abouts, blackouts, ultra looting, door-to-door army recruiting, drug lords continue shooting in winters, and cold Novembers leaving red snow when niggas bled so. For spot control, gold chains with diamond links, makes product in kitchen sinks, think tanks, mattress banks, stuck up bitches acting stink. Unplayed without provisions, 1 on 20 type collisions. Weed spots getting took when pool 9 run the jokes. Crooked beast crooks be lurking hurting to catch your body working. To see they perks when it's a nigga head they bursting. First and last, I like it black and smack that ass. Cum laude, streetwise, slide fast. Yes.
It's nothing but the drama, dog. It's nothing but it.
Alright. The fascination with the sort of word, turn to art of war. Put a little more into it, try to blow control. See, despite the way you thinking, I've been made to endure. I floor the rap like a lotus or in black VA, skating straightaways, moving out of buckets and chains. Paralyzed while I hit you like Colombian cane. And I'm so willing to kill it, words they couldn't explain. Spark flame so it burn slow. Feeling me every bit as much as the Dutch, loaded with grants, my thumbs crushed. My elevation from the lands where the guns bust. And to myself and the law, only might trust. Mic like a coke rush, finger on the pulse of the street. Moving through this life with speed, try to square the next generation here to eat. Besides that, you got me feeling the beats like this. Freestyle over the cap, with my nigga Big Pun, cause he bust mad raps. That's DMX, we rock this shit, no doubt. With my nigga Cannabis, let me show you how. Now we get down to the specifics, the Heineken. I'll be grabbing up the microphone and rhyme again, no time again. Lost off the brain and such, people around my way tell me that I smoke too much. I'm rolling in the Dutch, just the thing I do while I'm chilling with my niggas from the QU, the Zoo niggas. Rob, we like gorillas and such, while we ripping you the crew cause we just too much. Freestyle off the top of my brain, I maintain showing the motherfucking stress in the game. And still I wouldn't break a flow, fast, medium, or slow. Geronimo, I get the dough, nigga.
Hold me down, dog. Hold me there. Hold me there. Hold me there, dog. Hold me there.
Yo, check it out. Yo. And yo, I shatter dreams like Jordan, assault and battle your team. Your squadron will be barred from rap like Adam and Eve from the garden. I'm carving my initials on your forehead, so every night before bed you see the BP shut off the board head. Curse at the first whack, nigga with the worst rap, cause he ain't worth jack. Hit him with 1,000 pounds of pressure per slap. Make his whole body jerk back, watch the earth crack, hand him his first back. I'm the first Latin rapper to back for your skull. Max of the flow, niggas be swearing I'm black and cold like Hat King. I be rapping the guns, packing the ones, magnums, cannons, and Gatling guns. It's Big Pun, the one and only son of Tony Montana. You ain't promised mañana in the rotten Montana. Come on, Pana, we need more rappers. Fill him out and want a snake bite. Anaconda, a man of honor would want to try to match my persona. Sometimes rhyming, I blow my own mind like Nirvana. Comma, I want a whole line like Madonna. Go try to find another rhymer with my kind of grammar. I'm pure adrenaline, uncut, straight to the gut medicine. Raw cure for pain, I coat your brain like polyurethane. Simple to plain. I'll explain it in layman terms. If you came to learn how to make fire, I'ma make it burn higher and hotter than lava. The scholar advisor as smart as MacGyver could put on beside the heart of a liar involved in a life of crime. Fuck it, I like to shine up in the white and lime. Clutch with the pipe that's time flushed out. Both pockets about to bust out. If you're not ready for this finish, get the fuck out. Take a hike. We can even battle to make it right. Your head, face the mic and finish. Say goodnight, head to head in the street. I'll leave you dead in your feet, settling beef. I'll even let you rhyme to the Benjamin beat, but it won't matter. Your dream's still going shatter. It's a long ladder to climb. Mine is no stagger, so get out of town. Before I hit you with the loudest sound you ever heard, there's a bird playing you out of bounds. You can ramble out the mouth like you ramble, but you slouch. If we battled, you be out without a shadow of a doubt, and that's the ugly truth. Killers walk with muddy boots. Once my dogs cut me loose, that's a bullet in your bubbly goose. Fuck is you talking like you crazy, barking like you weighty. I'll have you crawling, walking like a baby. Don't try to play me because I'm not a player. And yo, I shot the place up and passed the heat off like a hot potato. I'm about to make $1 million, but still a rowdy, so I hope it rap before I have to kill somebody. That's how it is in the stone jungle. If you know to own the bundle, guaranteed nigga gonna mug you. And no one love you when you're broke as shit. Focus, kid. Commercials don't lie, thirsty to die. Coke is in. Blow your life away. That's the pay. The kid have been teaching the kid how to ride his bike today, stupid.
Yo. I wanted that ankle bad, huh? You got it right here, dog.
And I want to say, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? Blah, blah. I sampled that.
No.
up. Yo. Yo. Let the world know the truth. You don't want me to shine. You studied my rhyme, then you laid your vocals after mine. That's a bitch move, something a homosexual rapper would do. So when you say that you platinum, you only dropping clues. I studied your background, read the book that you wrote, researched your footnotes about how you used to sniff coke, fronting like a drug-free role model. You disgust me. I know bitches that seen you smoke weed recently. You walk around showing off your body cause it sells. Plus to avoid the fact that you ain't got skills. Mad at me cause I kick that shit real niggas feel. While 99% of your fans wear high heels. From Ice-T to Kumo D to Jay-Z. Now you wanna fuck with me, nigga, you crazy? You dripping with whack juice and you can't get it off. You better be prepared to finish what you start and give me the respect that I deserve. Or I'ma take it by force. Blast you with the 45 code. Make you somersault. Shock you with a couple 100,000-volt thunderbolts. Before you wanted the war, now you wanna talk. It's about who strikes the hardest, not who strikes first. That's why I laugh when I hear that whack-ass verse. That shit was the worst rhyme I ever heard in my life. Cause the greatest rapper of all time died on March 9th. God bless his soul, rest in peace, kid. It's because of him, now at least I know what beef is. It's not what I would call this. See, this is something different. A faggot nigga trying to make a living off of dissing. Somebody that he gotta know is better than him, but he feeling himself cause he got more cheddar than him. But let me tell you something. You might got more cash than me, but you ain't got the skills to eat a nigga's ass like me. And if you really want to get it on, we can get it on. Live in front of the cameras on your own sitcom. I'll let you kick a verse. Fuck it, I'll let you kick them all. I'll even wait for the studio audience to applaud. Clap, clap. Now watch me rip the tap from your arm. Stick you in the groin, kick you in your Vanguard Award. Snatch your Vanguard Award in front of your mom, your first, second, and third born. Make your wife get on the horn, call Minister Farrakhan. Make your wife get on the horn, call Minister Farrakhan so he could persuade me to squash it. I say, nah, he started it. He forgot what a hardcore artist is. A hardcore artist is a dangerous man, such as myself, trained to run 20 miles of soft sand, on or off land. Programmed to kick hundreds of bars off hand from a lost and forgotten land. You done did it, man. You done spit it, some wax shit it, and probably thought that because it's been a minute, I forget it. Fuck that. Cause like Common and Cube, I see the bitch in you. And I'ma make the world see it too. Ooh. Straight up and down.